Good Thursday evening to you all. Welcome into the UDDA Winner podcast. I am Dan Black. Joined with me, as always, is SportyJordy and our special guest today, Robert Lapsley. Rob, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm just gearing up for some great playoff games this weekend. Can't wait.
Awesome. Well, as you can see, he is a former, still Patriots fan, but always a Tom Brady fan. Always.
Yeah, that's never going to change for sure. Gave us 6 rings, so now that my Pats are out, I'm full on into Buccaneers mode. So
That's fair.
I'll be cheering
That's
my
fair.
guy on.
Always valid. I don't hate the people that went from Patriots fans to Buccaneers fans, mainly because there was no such thing as a Patriots fan before 2000. So it's fair to say that they just went with Tom Brady. But plenty to talk about tonight. Obviously, it's divisional round weekend coming up this weekend, so we'll get into all that kind of stuff. Also, a lot of NBA, hot or not, NBA/college basketball, hot or not, coming up as well. But let's jump right into it, as we always do. Winners and losers of the weekend. The losers were twofold. One was the referees. They had an awful showing over the weekend.
Terrible.
And then, of course, yeah. First, let's talk about that. How bad were they, 1 to 10?
Oh, I say 11. I mean, the officiating crew from the Bengals-Raiders game wasn't even allowed to touch another game. Like, that's how bad they were. They were like, you're all cut. Thank you for showing up, but you're done.
Yeah, it was bad. Rob, what do you think of the officiating over the weekend?
I agree. I think it needs to get better. I thought the when they blew the whistle in that Bengals game before the touchdown pass, I've never even seen something like that happen. I mean, it literally says in the rule book, if the whistle is blown, the play is dead, and they still called it the touchdown. So I don't know what that was about. Overall, I think, they just got to tighten it up here.
Yeah, we have a Whistlegate scandal happening now. But in the Bengals' defense on that one, why was the ref even blowing the whistle? Like, I don't care if you thought Joe Burrow was out. The ball was still in midair. So who do you think you are to blow the whistle? Like, it was so dumb.
Yeah, I didn't understand it, but I didn't care because
I wanted the Bengals to win.
Yeah, had money on them. I don't care how they win, as long as they win. It's all that matters. But yeah, the officiating overall really was bad, and obviously, it was sort of capped off in the weekend with the other loser that we talked about, which was the Cowboys. They were the only favorite the entire wild card weekend to lose. So if you had them in a 6-team favorites parlay, unfortunately you lost. But that last play has been the topic of conversation. And it really shouldn't be, in my opinion, because they were really bad before that. They were down 23-7 and going into the fourth quarter, I think. So the fact that they're blaming it on the referees when they decided to run a QB sneak with 14 seconds left in the game, and no timeout, just it doesn't make any sense why you're blaming the referees. I get that, that's what happens, but weird to me.
It was so bad. I want to know who thought it was a good idea to be like, yeah, let's send Dak right up the middle of the field when we have no timeouts to use. It was just brutal. I mean, it was great to watch, but it was brutal to watch from like the Cowboys were in Super Bowl conversations. Like, they were a team that was like a dark horse Super Bowl contender. And I get it. They claim this is their year every single year, but this year they actually looked like they had some of the pieces to, I didn't think they were going to get to the Super Bowl, but I did think they had the potential to make a run. I'm so glad the 49ers showed up in the way they did and ended that. But no, it was all around. You cannot blame the refs in that game. The Cowboys blatantly lost. They did not show up. In my mind, they showed up way too confident, and they were like, oh, we're good. We're the Cowboys. And then just could not. The 49ers came out very strong and couldn't, once they got behind, they couldn't catch up. So it was just an absolute hot mess. But yeah, I don't know if it was a designed run or if Dak, for some reason, thought it was a good idea.
I don't know. I no, it was very much a designed run. It was like called in. Kellen Moore like called it to be a QB sneak.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was 100% like they meant to do that.
And I just I'd like to know why. This is something I kind of wanted to talk about. The whistle did nothing wrong. In regards to the play itself, at my mind, I understand NFL rulebook. Yeah, once the whistle's blown, the play is ruled dead. But also, everyone's like, the only reason that was a touchdown is because the whistle blew and the defense gave up, and that's how Boyd could catch that touchdown. I went back and watched it 50,000 times. By the time the whistle was called, the ball was nearly in Boyd. Like, the defense had no time to, like, register and stop trying. So, from that aspect, I don't think there's an actual, like, I still think the touchdown was a touchdown in that regard, but I understand the whistle itself blows the play dead.
Yeah.
I had to vent about that for a second.
That's fair. Rob, what was your reaction when you saw the Cowboys like run up to the line and then decide to not throw the ball with 0 timeouts left and 14 seconds left?
I was frankly in shock. I mean, I thought at least they should have just taken two shots of the end zone with a Hail Mary. Maybe you can take one pass to the sideline and try and get out of bounds, but I just did not agree with that play call. And then even when they did it, I just think Dak needed to be more aware of sort of where the referee was. I know the ref could have maybe sprinted up to that line a little bit harder, but they looked like almost unsure of what to do with the football. And then
Didn't he hand it to an O lineman before giving it to a ref?
I think he handed to his O lineman, which I don't know why he did that. So just overall, not great execution, not great game awareness there by the players or the coaches. So I mean, it was like you said, it was great to watch. I think all the fans enjoyed that, especially the ones rooting on the Cowboys' downfall. But I personally definitely would not have called that play.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about the winners real quick, though. The 49ers were the lone underdog to win this weekend.
Yes.
And, you know, great for them, even though Jimmy Garoppolo is hurt and likely they will lose this weekend. But good for them. They got the Cowboys out, and that makes America better, in my opinion.
Absolutely. No, I think the Cowboys, the 49ers made something out of nothing this season. Like, there was one point where they didn't feel like they had any direction because they didn't know what they were going to do with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey. Like, everything just felt super confused. They were still dealing with injuries after injuries, which is something we've seen the last couple seasons now. But overall, towards the end of the season, they really rallied. I think beating the Rams in week 18 was just like a monumental moment for them coming into the playoffs. So yeah, I was hardcore 49ers fan this weekend. They made the loss of my Eagles, the blowout loss of our Eagles, Dan. They made it a lot less painful because, like you said, it also meant eliminating the Cowboys, and that's something we all love to say.
Yeah, that great to see the Cowboys die. Once again, they'll never win a Super Bowl. I refuse to believe that.
Hopefully not in my lifetime.
Believe otherwise. The other winner was Tom Brady stands, and Rob, I'll let you give your opinion. Tom Brady once again defies the logic of time, and absolutely, he didn't look like he broke a sweat. Like, he literally did not look uncomfortable from the word go against the Eagles. Rob, what was your takeaway from that?
Yeah, I mean, he's 44, but he looks almost the same as he, did in his 30s. And that game reminded me a lot of the, Patriots early divisional and wild card games where he'd just go out there and take care of business. He made the throws he needed to make. He made a couple tight window throws that I thought looked good. I mean, his arm's not slowing down, that's for sure. I think he's still got the velocity on it that he needs. So yeah, I think they're poised to make another big run, and the age he's doing it just keeps getting more incredible as the year goes on.
Yeah, he's obviously shown that time does not matter. I really don't know when that man's going to retire.
No.
Some say it might be this season, but
I don't think so. He doesn't. And in my mind, I went into the game, and obviously this was as a biased Eagles fan who blindly convinced herself that we had a chance to upset. But I went into that game like, oh my God, the Buccaneers are super injured. They were losing guys left and right throughout the game. And I was like, oh, come on, the Buccaneers. And then I forget, like, oh yeah, right. They have Tom Brady who can just make the impossible possible. And Dan, like you said, he just looked calm, cool, collected, never like literally just went out there and got it done, and then did not. They could have pulled him, and he was like, "No, like I'm good to keep going."
He's a freak of nature.
He
There's no other way
really
to do it.
is. He's
There's no
one
other
of
way
a
to do it.
kind.
Yeah, he's something else. So going into the weekend, now that we're into the divisional round, tons of pressure on a lot of different guys, a lot of different teams. But from a betting standpoint, who do you think the most pressure is on team wise, going into this weekend?
This is a tough one. I honestly think the most pressure is going to be on the Tennessee Titans, just because you've seen how hot the Bengals have gotten. We talked about this before the show started. We're all kind of riding with that the Bengals have the momentum coming into this game, and the Titans are the 1 seed. They had that first round bye. From the way everything's looking, Derrick Henry's going to be there and play. So that'll be really good for them. But like, you did what you had to do this season to be the 1 seed, and now like they're the favorite according to the books, but I'm saying all the momentum is with the Bengals. So I think for them, it's like prove to everyone that you're the 1 seed. Personally, I'm hoping they lose, but divisional round. So I just think that there's a lot of pressure on their backs. All these other games, it's kind of like, yeah, like it's a coin toss. It's just going to be whoever plays better. It's great matchups. But for the Titans, like they're the favorite that can easily be knocked out. So I think most of the pressure's on them.
How about you, Rob?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers for this one. I think, they played great all year, and it reminds me a lot of other Green Bay seasons where they had a great regular season, and then they just couldn't quite put a run together in the postseason. I think this is Aaron Rodgers' year. The Bucs are a little depleted. And I think it's right there for him to go and take it. And if he doesn't do that this weekend, I think that would definitely be a huge letdown for a lot of people. So I'm going to go with the Packers on this one. I think they really got to go out and get a statement win here to make a run for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you solely because I think everyone just expects them to roll over the 49ers, and that's probably going to be where most of the bets are placed in terms of them just destroying them, being at home and being well rested and everything. So, I just think there's no way the pressure isn't on them to just not roll over the 49ers. So let's talk about, our bets and what we think is going to happen this weekend. Since we're talking about the Packers, Rob, I'll let you go first. You like, I'm sorry, Jordy, you like the Packers.
I do. Packers have been my Super Bowl pick, my initial Super Bowl pick, which still looks like it could be true. I thought this year it was going to be Bills versus Packers, which can easily happen. And I've been kind of riding the Packers train all season. They're the only team to me that has stayed consistent throughout this entire regular season. And kind of like what Rob was hinting at, this is the time where they tend to get a little shaky, and they, for some reason, especially if they get to the NFC Championship game, that's the real curse for them and Aaron Rodgers. But it just seems like this is their year, and Aaron Rodgers has been playing so beyond incredible. Yeah, it's time for Jimmy G to go to sleep. I don't think this might be a blowout, but my favorite bet of this weekend is Packers -5.5, because I can't see this. I can't see them getting as close as that. I can see them easily winning by a touchdown or 10 points, fine, but that still covers the 5.5 point spread. And the 49ers, Jimmy G, he's still dealing with his thumb injury. Now he has a shoulder as well. You have Nick Bosa, who's still in concussion protocol. You have Fred Warner, who's all messed up. Like, there's just so much that went wrong for the 49ers last week, and they literally died to get their win against the Cowboys. And so now coming into this game against the Packers, I wasn't confident that they could beat the Packers even 100% healthy. And now that they kind of have all of these lingering things, I think it's going to make it a lot tougher. So yeah, my favorite bet this weekend is Packers -5.5. This is their year. Go Pack, go.
You're taking the safe route, Jordy. Rob and I, not so much. We like to live on the edge a little bit. Rob, you are also going an underdog, but we have two different underdogs. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm actually going with the Rams +3.5. I don't like to bet against my guy, Tom Brady, but I think when you put pressure on him with Aaron Darnold and Von Miller, that can definitely get to him. I also think their offense is really starting to hit the stride at the right time. sort of with OBJ coming into a bigger role as we saw last week. I think Cam Akers coming back is definitely a game changer for them. And
that was incredible.
Yeah.
His comeback.
And he played, I thought he looked good last week. Still was pretty explosive. And yeah, the Bucs are still dealing with those injuries. Leonard Fournette still questionable. So I think the Rams can pull off the upset if they play well and get pressure on Brady here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm also heavy on the Rams as well. I just think, especially with the offensive line in Tampa Bay being a little bit, iffy at this point. I just think that the Rams are the way to go. We are not fade me.
No, I actually like Dan's pick a lot.
Yeah, I am going with Bengals plus 3.5 and the money line. Just not confident in Tennessee. Really, don't really know what Derrick Henry is going to be like coming back from the injury. The Bengals have been red hot. They have a great run defense. They're not really missing any key pieces. They're missing one defensive tackle that's a starter, but other than that, they should be healthy and ready to go. And I'm just all in on Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah.
He's been phenomenal down the stretch. He was great last week, great against Kansas City.
He's a king.
He is a king. King Joe.
King of the jungle.
Daddy. King of the jungle, exactly. So Bengals plus 3.5 is way to go. Don't fade it. Right.
I am a Packers fan. I'm not actually a Packers fan. I'm just an Aaron Rodgers fan. And he's made me fall in love with the Green Bay Packers. This is my thing, though. The second he leaves, like I have an Aaron Rodgers Packers jersey. Like the second he's out of Green Bay, which I think is going to happen at the end of the season, I'm not going to like really root for Green Bay that much. I mean, I love Devontae Adams too, but the whole vibe there is because of Rodgers. So I'm just an Aaron Rodgers fan more than a Packers fan, and I will follow him wherever he goes.
That's fair. So yeah, those are our favorite bets. I'm excited to see how they go for this weekend. Don't forget we have plenty of great contests for this weekend. 6 for 6s for all 4 matchups. You win them, win $50. So cold hard cash from that. Make sure you join those on the UDDA app. Rob, we appreciate you coming on and talking some football. And enjoy the divisional round this weekend, bud.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Yeah.
All right.
Bye, Rob.
Talk to you later. All right. So let's talk some basketball now. Hot or not. Actually, before we get into that, my Indiana Hoosiers are playing tonight. They're playing Purdue.
Oh, yeah.
We hate Purdue. Purdue sucks. Hoosiers are always by 90. Don't know. They're in Assembly. I think they're playing in Assembly Hall. I think they're playing in Bloomington tonight. Either way, they're going to win as long as Mike Woodson's wearing a suit. Mike Woodson wears a suit, we win. Mike Woodson doesn't wear a suit, they don't win. That's literally a fact. There's a betting.
You can't argue with facts.
But we're going to Hoosiers. I think they're like 2.5 point underdogs, I believe. I don't know. I can't remember.
Did you see the Villanova upset last night?
I did see that. I saw that. I saw the Duke upset, which we're going to talk about a little bit the other day. But Indiana, book it now. They're winning tonight, upsetting Purdue. Mike Woodson era. We're going to be there in March/April for the national championship. Call it now. Just saying.
Beautiful.
Be there.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Be there or be square.
Exactly. So hot or not for basketball. There's a lot going on in the NBA/college basketball world this week / the next few weeks. One of the hot or nots I have for you, Jordy, involves the Sixers, but also a team not too far away in the Brooklyn Nets. There was a report. Now, this is just a report. It's not factual, not guaranteed to happen. That James Harden would be open for relocation. Now, we remember last offseason, the Sixers tried to trade for tried to trade for James Harden, but they wanted the Rockets wanted too much. He eventually goes to Brooklyn, and Ben Simmons has yet to touch the floor for the Sixers. Hot or not, this trade happens where James Harden becomes a Sixer, Ben Simmons becomes a Brooklyn Net.
I honestly, now I can go about this in 2 different ways. I can go about it the way what I want to happen or what I actually think is going to happen. If it was up to me, this is so hot. I'm so here for it. I would basically do anything to get Ben Simmons out of the city of Philadelphia for a reasonable price, and I think this would be a fantastic trade. Do I actually think it is going to happen before the trade deadline? No. So I'm going to say not in regards to if it's actually going down. I mean, for the Nets, Harden has a $47.4 million player option for the 2022-2023 season. And if he turns that down, it makes him a free agent. He's available to sign a 5-year, $269.9 million deal with the Nets. So for them, I don't think it's the best case scenario just because their top three, only one of them has signed a long-term deal. So if they just start trading him away, like, yeah, it frees up a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want to do here? I mean, they have their whole situation. One of their guys can't even play at home. So, I mean, they're a hot mess anyway, but I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done before the deadline. And from their perspective, I don't know. Like, this is going to be hard to get rid of Ben Simmons because, like, what team is going to want to go after Ben when you just see him just casually sitting back and not wanting to do anything? And I think we're going to I saw a Rum report that was like, the Sixers could do this without giving up Tobias Harris. And I'm like, no, give up Tobias Harris. Like, let them take them both and just get them off of our hands. So
Yeah.
I think there's a chance, but realistically, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm sort of I sort of agree with you in that. Because yeah, I
I'd
would
be
love to see
thrilled
that.
if it
But
went
I
down.
just don't see them deciding, especially if Kyrie can't play all the games.
Exactly.
Like, then you're just relying on Kevin Durant to be your total offense, and they're not winning a championship in that way. But it would be unbelievably amazing, especially after seeing Joel Embiid last night do what he did, to add James Harden to that.
It would be iconic.
It would be unreal. I don't even know. I would just be ready to parade down Broad Street come, July or end of June, whenever the parade would be. Because I would almost guarantee it at that point.
100%.
To be honest. Also, hot or not, I did not have this one in the rundown, but I'm going to add it late. Hot or not, Russell Westbrook gets traded by the trade deadline.
Russell Westbrook. I don't know. I'm gonna say hot on this one. I think there's a better chance of this happening. It just doesn't seem to be working. I mean, he doesn't look like himself at all. I don't really know what's the deal, but if I were them, I'd want him out. I'd be like, come on, like, get me something good to move on from this, because he hasn't been able to do crap for a very long time now.
See, I disagree with you because he's doing exactly what he's been doing. He's been doing the same thing that he's been doing for 12 years. Like, this is exactly who he is. It's just people thought he would change.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
so
I expected more.
Right. That's the issue. Expectations. Keep them low.
Expectations do hurt you.
Yeah, they do hurt you. I'm gonna say not, just because who the hell would want him? Like, who's going to what team in their right mind is going to give up any asset for Russell Westbrook?
I keep seeing
he's been
reports
on
of
4
him to
different
Philly,
teams.
and I'm like, no.
Like, there is zero market for him. Like,
Yeah.
they're stuck with it. Like, there's nowhere to go. No team in contention would want him.
I think
No team in a
think there are
rebuild would want him.
I think there are teams that would go after
I
him, but
disagree.
from their perspective, I don't think they're not going to get what they want for him because of the expectation. You know
Right,
what I
like,
mean?
And unless he
that's gonna be the problem.
unless he all of a sudden decides to be like Carmelo Anthony and just like says like, all right, I've been humbled, like I'll be a backup and whatever, but that's not happening. That's
No.
not happening anytime soon. So like, he's not going anywhere. So I think, as much as I would love to see him on a different team and see what LeBron could do with anybody else
With anyone else.
this season, especially with AD being yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
All right. Hot or not, betting wise, Embiid to be in the top 3 of MVP votes by the All-Star break. So the All-Star break is in 3 weeks. I think he's at number 4. Hot or not, especially at the last performance, Joel Embiid, top 3 in MVP voting.
I'm going to say this is scolding hot, and the main thing behind this is Kevin Durant's injury. I think that's going to play with Embiid playing the way he has been. And last night was just kind of like a remember me, acknowledge me kind of thing, put me in the top 3. He's absolutely killing it. And I would jump in front of a bus for Joel Embiid. Let's just make that clear. And I want him to get the recognition that he deserves, because he's literally the one thing really holding us together at this point. But, I think Durant's injury is going to play a big part in it. I mean, even Curry, he's still playing great, but it's been a slight decline from what we saw. I mean, I had the stat pulled up. He's shooting 38.2% from the floor and 35% from 3-point range.
Yeah.
Which, it's just not the numbers that we were seeing earlier on this season. So I think if he starts slipping, if the Kevin Durant injury, they said he's going to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks, but that's the perfect recipe for Embiid to sneak his way in here.
Yeah, I'm with you. My two top guys, and one, I think the Steph Curry thing, he just had a bad month, and he was so red hot. He started out so hot.
It's just
that it was
averaging out.
Now it's normal, but he's still incredible. Yeah, I'm with you on the Embiid thing. I think he's going to be right there, top 3 by the All-Star break. Also, I think John Morant is going to be top 5 by the All-Star break. He is my king. He is a young king in Memphis, and I hope he stays there for a long time. He probably won't, unless he decides to pull like a Damian Lillard or something like that. But they're 3rd in the Western Conference. They're doing great. But yeah, I think Joel Embiid will definitely be up there. And I pray to God he finally gets an MVP, because does that man deserve it or what?
100%.
I feel last year.
Screw last year. He deserved it last year.
Yeah.
That
Serbian
me.
Or whatever Jokic is. Slovenian.
I will never get over it.
Screwed him. All right, and our final hot or not from the collegiate angle. Hot or not, despite the fact that Mike Krzyzewski has said last offseason that this will be his last year, with how poor Duke has been for Duke standards, and the fact that they just got upset by Florida State, hot or not, Coach K is bamboozling us all, and he'll be back next season.
As much as I would love this, I personally don't think so, because knowing him, I feel like it took a lot for him to get to the point where he was like, okay, I'm making the announcement. This is going to be my last season. So I think for him to rescind that, I think it would take a lot more. And I feel like for him to come out and say it, it would have had to been like concrete, like, I know I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Where are you leaning?
I think, I don't know. There's part of me that's like, if there's no competition in the ACC, so they should easily win the ACC, get to the tournament and everything. But if they completely like crap out, I wouldn't be surprised. If they lost, say they had like a shocking first round exit, or even a bad loss in the second round, I wouldn't put it above him. I don't expect it. I would probably put not, but wouldn't shock me if he came back.
I think that's fair. I think that's a very fun way to look at it.
I just think competitive people, especially when you've had the amount of success he's had, I think to go out like that would be, just not great.
No, I see where you're coming from. I think I'm in that same boat. If he came out and said it, yeah, I'll be back, I wouldn't be shocked by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm just leaning more towards he's probably made his mind up, and he'll acknowledge all the success he's had. But you're right. Competitive people, you never know. It's like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady gets knocked out. If Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, at that point, do you retire on a high note, or does it bring the edge back? I'm still Tom Brady. Let me go for another one.
I truly believe in Tom Brady's case, he will die. The only way he retires is if someone literally Joe Theismann's him, and just that's the end of his career.
Yeah.
He has no physical ability to play the sport again, or someone hits him so hard he dies on the field.
Yeah.
That's the only way I see it happening.
Yeah, no, because he's literally aging backwards.
He's just a psychopath.
He really is.
There's no other way to put it. He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
Psycho Tom for a reason.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Divisional round this weekend. Hoosiers playing tonight. We got the money on them. Jordy, I know you're supporting Indiana, even though you did not go there.
No,
always.
but they have my support tonight.
We love that. We love that. Make sure if you haven't already, download the UDDA app and follow us on all our social medias. Enjoy the divisional round this weekend, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody.